Now that we're well on our way with a new academic year here at Mesa Community College, it's a good time to start talking about the college's planning and budgeting processes. Now, at a high level, the college is looking to create an environment where managers have a clear understanding of the resources that they're entrusted with in order to accomplish their goals, and have a clear understanding of how they can manage their teams in order to move forward goals that are aligned with the college's key priorities. Similarly, college administration wants the tools and the space to be able to help guide the college at a really broad level, to monitor its progress, and to create space for future opportunities where the college can take actions and get better results for its community and students. Now, in order to do that, we start with what is generally considered a best practice in higher education around integrated planning. Now, that starts with the college's strategic plan, which includes its mission, vision, and values, as well as institutional level goals. Now, all of this comes together as a document that we publish every 5 years or so that talks about the general direction and the major forces at play in how MCC thinks of itself. It just so happens that we are in the process right now of reviewing the strategic plan in order to renew it for another 5 years, and that work is happening right now. Now, beyond the broad strategic plan of the college, we will then get to the work of developing a next level, a next tier of plans that talk about specific development strategies at the college. Now, that will include infrastructure things like facilities and technology. It will include major processes like enrollment management, and it will include an educational master plan, which speaks to the types of programs and pedagogies that we're planning on using into the future in order to serve our communities in the way that we described in our strategic plan. The important thing to understand about these additional master plans is that everything needs to be in support of the strategic plan, but then each of these plans actually communicates with each other in order to create a picture of what's possible. For example, a facilities master plan talks about how the college will develop its site and maintain its facilities in order to serve students well. However, it wouldn't be able to do that effectively without an understanding from the educational master plan about the types of classes that we plan to offer and the types of delivery methods that we're going to be using to offer those classes. So all of these plans work together in an integrated way to move the college in an appropriate direction. Now, with that strategic foundation, we ask departments to put together plans each year that speak to how their individual departments are going to help move the college forward towards its goals. Now, we don't ask for that to come from nowhere. We actually engage in ongoing assessment and program review activities that address each department's operational outcomes and learning outcomes, how well we do what we do, and that information is then used in order to craft an improvement plan each year in the form of an annual operational plan that helps us to think through which things we might do next and which opportunities we might have to enhance our offering in order to get better results for our students and community. Now, that information, the annual operational plan, is going to be the backbone of our internal budget process. So the detailed proposals included in each year's operational plan will be some of the information that the college leadership reviews in order to craft changes in our budget and help to steer us towards our priorities as those emerge from year to year. The important thing to pull from this diagram and this conversation is that the budget is not the centerpiece. The budget is not the thing that leads what we do. The budget is the result of us having meaningful conversation about the direction of the college and coming up with appropriate strategies in the short term in order to accomplish those goals. In a simplified way, the annual planning process will involve program review and assessment on an ongoing basis, using those insights to generate annual operational plans, and those operational plans will inform college level budgeting, which will then lead us back to assessing the things that we've done and thinking through what we might do again in the future. So in the operational planning process, what we're specifically asking each department to do is to talk about three major things. The first item is to talk about the context in which the department operates. What things are going on in the space, in the industry, in the field in which the department works, and how is that impacting how we do business and what our priorities are. The second piece is to look at initiatives that the department plans to either start or to continue in order to improve its offering or to achieve its goals. Department initiatives should be thought through in a status quo scenario where we're not talking about additional resources and we're not talking about significant changes in the environment. We're just talking about all things held equal. What is the department going to do in order to improve? The last piece is to talk about potential proposals where there are opportunities to enhance what the department does, to grow the program, to change the program, to restructure or reposition the program in a way that would better support students and or our community. These proposals can involve a request for additional funding and will be considered as part of our annual budget process. The operational plans can be summarized according to this timeline, where in the early fall, departments will work to generate ideas and to craft these plans. Obviously, this year we're a little bit behind the curve on that as we get this process stood up. In the late fall to winter period, those ideas should be talked about between departments and with the leadership of each department area up through AVPs and deans, vice presidents, and executive vice presidents in order to ensure that all of the plans are things that fit into our overall strategy and that complement each other. In the winter months, the college leadership will engage to look through this information and see within the resources that a college has which things that we can reprioritize and focus on. And finally, in the spring months, the president will make a final endorsement of which budget decisions that we want to make coming into a new year. Now, as you've noticed, there's a number of things going on at any point in time during the year, and we've talked about many of them. So we have an assessment cycle that is ongoing where we think about how we're doing what we're doing. There's an operational planning process where we propose our current and new directions. And then there's a budget process where we think about, as a college, how we can prioritize our resources around key initiatives. However, at the same time, there is a district-wide budget process where colleges are invited in the fall to engage with the district in a conversation about major priorities that can help inform budget proposals that go to the governing board. This process runs concurrently with the college process, however, is informed by all of the work that we do each year in anticipation of this, so that it's more like an ongoing conversation about what the college's needs are and the direction that it's going. Lastly, we have an ongoing process during the year where we are managing our budgets and managing our operations, and things come up, and therefore we need the opportunity to engage one-time funding conversations at a college-wide level. And as you can see, extending that over multiple years, really this is a cycle that continues year over year and continues to inform each step in the process so that it is an ongoing dialogue about the current priorities and direction that the college and district are headed. So all of that said, let's focus in on what the key pieces are that we are going to be engaging in over the course of the year in order to get resources into the appropriate places to serve our students well. So the first thing is that each year we're going to be doing a department budget summary, which talks about what across all of our funds, what resources that we're going to be using in order to manage our departments. This is meant to provide a guide for department staff and managers so that we can monitor our progress during the year, as well as to communicate changes in where we are getting our funding and what those funding needs are year to year. Second, as we just discussed, in the fall, we're going to be working on operational plans that talk about the strategic directions and new initiatives that are possible within each of our departments in order to improve results. And then on an ongoing basis, we're going to have the opportunity to engage in conversations around one-time funding in the current year, as well as the opportunity to express proposals or needs related to facilities and space on campus, so that we can look at the resources that we have at any point in time and align those things with what the college needs in order to improve its service to students. So as for next steps for MCC this fall, the two important pieces from a departmental level are that on October 17th, we need to turn in those pro forma budget details that we talked about. Specific instructions and a template on that will be following very shortly. In addition, on December 20th, which is the end of the last regular week of the fall semester, vice presidents and EVPs need to have reviewed and approved any operational planning proposals from departments so that when we return in the winter, we can directly engage college budget and strategy discussions. Also, at a college-wide level, on November 15th, MCC needs to turn in broad budget proposals to the district office related to next year's district-wide budget. So we are using all of the feedback that we're gathering, both as part of this process and have gathered in the past, in order to craft a college-wide proposal for this year. When that information is available, it will be shared out to the community for review as well. So if you have any questions on any of this as we continue to move forward with these new and revived processes, please do not hesitate to reach out to Dennis Mitchell or anyone on the institutional effectiveness team or Brad Kendricks in the administrative services area or anyone on the fiscal team in order to talk through the various forms that we're asking you to fill out or to have us explain again any parts of this process that would be helpful to cover. Thank you.